Hello, Facebook fam. How are you today?
Yay.
It is I, Danielle D. Smith, accompanied with Miss Tish Pope. Yay! And we are here for
Yay.
your Thursday. I knew what
Mhm.
today was.
Yes. Good job. Good
right,
job.
right. For your tip today on Thursday, your interview tips. So,
Mhm.
I forgot to put it out there. Make sure you ask us questions.
Yes, please do.
So, if you have any questions, definitely get them out today. So we kind of want to do like we do have a topic, but we also want to just kind of get in and answer some questions and kind of
Mhm.
develop off of that as well. So, you guys, if you have questions, definitely get them out to us because we want to help you. This is the time
Mhm.
to ask is before you go to a job. This is
Yes.
the time to get help before you put your application in. This is time to get
Yes.
help before you have that interview. So,
Mhm.
uh, I am Danielle D. Smith. I have a couple hats, but the hat that I'm using today to assist you guys is I have over 12 years in HR/recruiting. And I am passionate about helping people to get a job. And I'm also passionate about people keeping their job. So that is what we do is our mission was to come together to help people to be able to get and keep a job.
Mhm.
And also the mission is to help small businesses to be able to hire the correct people and release the correct people as well.
Mhm.
That is what I specialize in is if you are a small business and you're looking to hire some people or a person to work for you. A lot of times you don't have that skill and you may have people coming in and out, in and out, in and out because you haven't found that correct person. That I am your girl that you want to hire so that I can get the correct person in your door. Because at the end of the day, what does that mean? That means money in your account because you have the correct person working for you. And that means that money is going to continuously come into your business and you will not be closing. Okay. And then I also help with being able to get rid of people as well. So, AKA fire people for you, because it is a skill that some people just do not like to take on. And I definitely
Mhm.
understand it. I actually enjoy
Mhm.
firing people. So I have no problem
Mhm.
taking that over for you. Um, Not I enjoy it in some old evil kind of way. I just believe that if the wrong person is in that job spot, then once again, you're not producing money and that is not helping you. So I want to help your business thrive. And so the way to
Mhm.
do that is to have the correct people in place in order for that to happen. And then I always help people find new jobs. So I'm not just firing people and leaving them on about their
Mhm.
little bitty old way. No, I don't do that. I help people find new jobs. So that is what I specialize in. Tish, what do you specialize in?
So, as you know, my name is Tish, and I'm a workforce development professional. And what I specialize in is helping people get jobs. And what that looks like is I help you from the beginning all the way through to the actual landing of the job. That's from resume, cover letter, writing, and mock interviews, going online, finding job leads, applying for the jobs through their application process. And also, if you need further assistance with just making sure that the job that you're looking for is the best fit, then I can, go through the job descriptions with you as well and just make sure you're prepared for a phone interview, face-to-face interview, or web conference interview.
Awesome sauce.
So that's what I do. Yes,
Awesome.
yes.
That's super duper dope. Listen, so the two of us
Hmm.
together, coming
Yes.
together, giving our expertise. So whether you're an entrepreneur or not an entrepreneur, then you know what I mean. You can get tips from us. For those that are in recruiting, that do recruiting, I also offer tips for that as well. So if you're having a hard time with a particular client, getting associates, then we can discuss which job boards you're using and so forth and so on. Right now, with the economy the way that it is, Definitely sensitive to that. And, just want to be able to assist. So this is for those that are
Mhm.
seeking jobs and those that are posting jobs as well. Okay, cool.
All right.
Oh, Tish, what are we starting with today?
So, so we're going to start with talking about job leads. So we already discussed the interview process, pre, during, and post, as far as how you should represent yourself, your presentation, that it starts when you come to that facility, because the first person, the gatekeeper, is the one that you want to impress, as well as the person you're interviewing with. We talked about the clothing, what type of clothes you should wear, how you can still stand out but blend in at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we also talked about the different ways that an entrepreneur can go about finding a job, so
Mm-hmm.
that they're not turned down because they have a CEO title at their business, and how they can finesse it on their resume so that they can get that interview. So today we're going to go a little bit back, a little bit further back. We're going to talk about the actual job lead process so that we can understand where you should go to look for jobs that are within your interest, in your occupation or field of interest. So I will go ahead, if you don't mind, and talk about, from my perspective as a job developer, or also known as an employment specialist. So what we do when we first sit down with a person is we identify what is your employment goal. And we talked about this. So we talked about it's very important that you know what your goal is. It's very important that you know your limitations, whether that is cognitive, physical disability, transportation, things of that nature. You should also know your availability. All of this is important when you're looking for a job, as well as being able to answer the questions correctly in an interview when they ask you what is your availability, or is there any reason why you would not be able to do this job. So before you even get to the interview, you need to know, when you're looking for jobs, what fits inside of your expectations. Okay, now do not feel fearful. We talked about this as well. Do not feel fearful about saying, hey, I do want to do this and I don't want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
because if you are not sincere, it's going to come across to a person like Danielle when you go into the interview.
Yep.
So just make it easy on yourself when you're looking for job leads, that you know those things up front.
Yep.
What you want to do, which is your employment goal, your limitations as far as availability, transportation, your cognitive or physical disability if you have one. And also you want to know if there's any other barriers. Some people take care of family members, okay, whether it's an elderly family member or if you have children. So you really need to be realistic about
Mm-hmm.
your restrictions, okay? Another thing you need to know is which boards to go to look for the type of jobs that you're seeking. So if you're in IT, there's certain boards that you need to go to. If you're looking for office work, like if you're looking for assistant type of job, receptionist type of job, or office management type of jobs, you have options. Now, I want to say when it comes to job leads, there's two ways you can go about it. You can go through a third party, which would be like a job board, or you can go straight to the website of the employer. Sometimes the employer chooses to use like Snag a Job or something like that as a go-to first, because they're outsourcing that part of their hiring process. So you'll have to go to Snag a Job or something like that, or Indeed. Those are some of the popular boards. Glassdoor is another popular job board. They'll want you to go there first before you get to them. And that's just their process. But most of the time, if you see the job on a job board, you most likely will find it on the website of the employer. So it makes it a better chance of you getting through the process, because sometimes there's a snag in the system that will cause a technical difficulty and your application may not get to them if it's to a third party. So if you have a chance to go through the employer's website, I suggest you do that instead of going through a third party. Danielle?
I'll also say the reason why it could be on the job board and not on the client's website is also just a time delay as well. So, I could put a job up on the job board and it could take 24 hours for it to come down, from that site. but I'm not hiring for it anymore. So
Mhm.
going to the client's direct website to see what they have is the better option. Also because maybe they didn't put all their jobs on the job board. So you can
Mm.
actually find more jobs on their website than you could find on the job board. So that's another huge thing is
Mhm.
because some of these job boards charge the client or the employer to put their jobs on there, right? And so if they do that, then hey, maybe my money only allots for me to put one job on there or two jobs on there because this job like I really really need. So let's say for instance I have a customer service position that I'm hiring for, but I'm also
Mhm.
hiring for an IT person. I also need a uh media marketing person, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So there, I could also need a trainer. So
Mhm.
but I wasn't able to put those things on the job board because I only need one person for those other positions, but the customer service position I need 50.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's a high demand position. And so I
Mhm.
would put that on a job board. If my money only allotted for one particular job, I would put that on a job board and
Mhm.
then not put the other ones because I only need one person. And so
Okay.
it would filter more into a job board, the customer service position.
Okay.
Or it's just so it's really according to their money. So if you go to their website, definitely look to see what else they have. And then
Mhm.
also here's another little trick. So let's say for instance you look on their website and you do not see any jobs. So
Mhm.
you went on the job board, you saw that they
Mhm.
were hiring for something, then you go to their website and you do not see that they're hiring for something. If
Mhm.
you really, 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 really like the position, go ahead and apply for it. But it'll be
Wow.
a back burner position.
Mhm.
Meaning when they open it up again, they will be able to see your application there. And let's say, for instance, they open it back up in a week.
Mhm.
And maybe they won't post it out there, but they'll look to see what back burner applications are in there. So don't let
Okay.
it really deter you from applying. If you have a minute, go ahead and still apply. If you don't see it on their website, but it would be like a secondary thing. It'd be like I said, if they ended up needing more people, down the line or something like that, then they
Mhm.
definitely would go to them.
All right. I like what you just stated because you don't want to give up. That's the worst thing you want to do. If you really are interested in a position, you saw it at one time, then it disappeared and it's gone. Still reach out to them and let them know. They may say, right now, we're not hiring. We'll keep your application or your resume on file, and then we'll let you know. And there's a certain time frame, I believe, that most employers leave. Keep your application on file. And it's normally like, what, 3 to 6 months, something like that, sometimes up to a year. It depends on the employer, but 3 to 6 months, I believe, is a typical time frame that an employer keeps a resume in or application on file for future viewing. Like we stated before, if you can keep your resume at one page and make it user friendly so they can skim through it quickly. Like Danielle stated, you want to make sure that it's not too wordy because they look at it in like 2 minutes, know whether or not you're a good fit or not for the job. So make sure that you definitely reach out to me if you need help with creating a one-page resume that is user-friendly for the tracking system that you uploaded to on the employer's website or even on a job board, because job boards try to pre-populate the content using your resume so it can make it easier on you when you're filling out their profiles so that you can get the best fit for you. Also, I want to say that once you find the job board that you're looking for, there's also some cool features on these job boards, such as the option to send your application immediately. So if you have already filled out your profile and your profile is very specific and focused on what kind of job you're looking for, there's the option to save certain job leads so that they can continue to show you the same type of work. Okay, so like if I'm looking for an administrative job and I click on the option to give me all the administrative jobs within a certain radius of where I live, because again, I want to be mindful. of my restrictions. Like if I have transportation issues, I may want to find one within a 5-mile radius, right? So that it's closer to me. So if I have to walk, ride a bike, or take a bus, if there's a bus nearby, or call a friend and have them drive me somewhere, it's not too far away from my home. So those kind of things you'll set up as your filters, and then you can click an option to have those filters saved, and then it will continue to set up a job alert and send things to you. Okay, and sometimes you have the luxury of setting how frequently you want to receive those alerts. So whether it's a daily or end of the week type of alert, feel free to set that up. And then what happens is it will make it easier for you because the jobs will come to you versus you having to go out there every day looking for the jobs. So like I stated before, some of the most popular job boards that people use for like entry-level type of positions would be Glassdoor, Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and there are employers that will prefer that you go straight to their website. So like we stated before, if you can do that, that'll be a great option because you want to make sure that you stay clear of any kind of technical difficulties that could occur because you went through a third party. So, and then also if you go on their website and they don't have the job posted, you can sometimes call and ask them, hey, I'm looking for a job in this field and I want to know if you have anything available for full-time or part-time. And they will let you know. Sometimes they don't post the jobs and they may be just in the process of thinking about how they want to go about it. But because you took the initiative to reach out to them, they will most likely look at you as one of the candidates for that position, either when they're ready to post it, or if you fit, they may go ahead and hire you before they even consider posting it because you made it easier on them.
Yep.
So yeah, so that is a good option to not only the job boards, not only the employers' websites, but also giving them a call. Now, I've stated plenty of times in the past videos that you should also look into building relationships by sometimes going up there to the jobs and talking to them. Now, if it's a major business with maybe probably more than 15 employees, then you may want to introduce yourself through the phone and see if it's possible that you can come up there because it may be a building with a security measure or something like that you have to go through, and it probably wouldn't look appropriate for you to just show up. But if it's like a Pizza Hut or if it's some kind of retail store where you can walk in just like everybody else, then that would probably be an okay situation for you to walk in and talk to a hiring manager. I've done it plenty of times as a job developer on behalf of my clients. I will go in and I'll talk directly to the employer and say, hey, I'm looking for jobs for this type of person. Do you have anything, or could you give me some suggestions on how I can find jobs for this person? And I normally ask a question like, do you have any suggestions versus say, do you have a job? Because sometimes ask them directly, do you have a job? They think you're a job hunter and they'll kind of shun you because they don't want to deal with those type of people. But when I explain to them that I help certain audience, like people with developmental and intellectual disabilities, and also people with criminal backgrounds, and I'm just asking around to find out what kind of jobs will be a best fit, then they're more willing to help you because now you're asking them for their advice and their expertise. And most people like to give their advice and expertise to you. So once you do that, then they may say, hey, you know, I got an opening for a position. And that will probably give you the opportunity to get that person in the door and speak to them and do like an informational interview, which is basically to be informed about what the job qualifies them for and what type of responsibilities they will have if they are hired, and go from there. Do you want to chime in, Danielle, about anything?
Yeah, so there's an organization that is it's kind of with Job and Family Services, but it's COWIC, and I cannot recall what that stands for. But if you look at COWIC, they every single month they do a hiring process, and it's for employers and for those that are seeking employment. So what will happen is employers will come and they'll say what they have available. And there are job seekers there, and the job seeker will be able to speak as well and say, this is the type of job that I'm looking for. So you're in one room. And I know they're with COVID right now, they're not doing that, but what they are doing is that they are doing it virtually. So look up COWIC.org. I'm gonna look that up real quick and make sure that's right. Because I know is that right?
So I can speak a little bit about that in a little bit, because I'm looking up their website now, because they have a monthly meeting. I believe it's the last Thursday of the month.
Friday.
I have to find out. Last Friday. Thank you. Yep, it's the last Friday of the month. I was going to say Friday, but I was like, I'm not sure because I haven't been to one yet, but I've had those come through to me because they said, you get to take your employees there and
Yep.
they can talk about their experiences in front of a group of employers. It's
Mm-hmm.
because the reason why I haven't taken some of my participants is because they have anxiety, or some type of disability that will hinder them from shining. So sometimes it's not the best course of action to go in front of a group of people if you suffer from anxiety, because you don't like a room full of people staring at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you may want to stick with the one-on-ones
But you
if that
don't,
makes you feel comfortable.
but I will say you don't have to say something in front of everyone.
Awesome.
The employers, I mean, I guess it's, I mean, I want to say it's mandatory, but it's not mandatory that, we speak. But as employers, I mean, we definitely want to say what we have. But when it's over, so at the end, after everyone, has done their sides, the employers usually speak first, and then the job seekers speak. But you don't have to. They go around the room and they ask, I mean, so it's not mandatory at all. But then
Mm-hmm.
when it's over, they're like, go ahead and network because they want
Mm-hmm.
the job seeker to go to that employer that they're interested in,
Yes.
or as the employer, they want us to go to speak to somebody that we heard, has skills, and I stand in one spot and those come to me, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, moving around and everything. And then as an employer, we're able to leave our information there if somebody needs to leave early or something like that, or if you couldn't get to that employer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they send out an email afterwards, and that'll list all the employers that were there, and they'll list also, they also will list some of the job seekers that were there. Because say for
Mm-hmm.
instance, again, you had something, a job opening pop up, and that was later, that wasn't available on that day you went to that meeting, then
Mm-hmm.
they want you to choose from those people. And it's a free service for
Mm-hmm.
employers. So if you are an employer and you're looking for somebody, it's a free service for you, and it's a free
Mm-hmm.
service for job seekers as well. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that they ask for is that you let them know if you hire somebody that came from that particular meeting, because they get
Mm-hmm.
grant funding. So that's the only
Mm-hmm.
thing that they ask for, and that's great. You know what I mean? So it's like, they provide breakfast, which is usually like a donut or coffee. They definitely have coffee and water and juice. Well, usually just coffee and water, and they'll have donuts or muffins or something like that. So you get a little breakfast, and you're there for maybe
Mm-hmm.
like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great networking event. And so if you're an employer, it's great to network with not only just job seekers, but it's also great to, because that's where I would then meet, people like Tish who are,
Mm-hmm.
looking to hire different people. I would meet staffing agencies. I would meet, so it's a great
Mm-hmm.
place to network. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's also, well, like I said, if you didn't want to highlight a particular job that you had because you're just looking for one person or something, and there are a variety of people that attend, all the way from, C-suite on down. So
Awesome.
it definitely is a variety of people that attend this, as far as job seekers and employers. There's government positions there. I mean, there's all type of positions that are there. So
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend it. The one of the directors over it is a really good friend of mine, and I know that they are doing virtual hiring right now. They just had one, I want to say today's Thursday, so I think it was Tuesday. um
Mm-hmm.
so you want to get on their
8 a.m.
Yes, so you want to get on their mailing list so that you can be in touch with what they have coming up, because it is government based, and so they're not looking to really get anything, like I said, but just feedback pretty much. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking you for anything. And, you get out and you can network. So I think it's a great thing. Other thing I wanted to touch on though was, you were talking about transportation, and this is something that does come up, quite, I've seen it happen quite often. Um, Also, make sure that you guys, thank you for everybody that's watching. But if you have any questions at all, you can inbox one of us, type it into the comment section. We want to help you. Okay. We want to help you to be able to get that position. So please contact us or put your questions into the comment. If you're wondering, well, why did this person not hire me? Ohio is an at-will state. I see people on here from other places. We could look up your state, though, your particular state, because each state is different. Ohio definitely is an at-will state and can dismiss you really for no reason. They have to have a reason, but really no reason. Okay, so it's a very touchy situation. So if you have a situation, you definitely can comment that as well, or ask one of us to reach out to you. But I did want to touch on transportation. So here's something that I would get a lot is, let's say for instance, you and your friend want to get hired because you know that they have uh, multiple positions open and you and your friend are both eligible for this position. Listen, let me tell you how to interview for that. Okay. You and your friend want the same job, but you know that there's multiple positions open for it, right? And you and your friend can get it. I highly, I cannot stress this enough. I highly suggest this. Do not act like you know each other when you go there. If you go at the same time, if you can prevent walking in at the same time, do not sit near each other, do not talk to each other. I'm telling you, it can affect you. I'm telling you now, it can affect you. Especially then when it gets down to ride sharing. Listen, employers cannot stand ride sharing. Please do not make it known that you are doing ride sharing with anybody that works at the building, if they work there already, or if that person is interviewing, with you. I'm telling you right now. Now, this is something employers cannot stand this. When it comes to employers, when it comes to staffing agencies, if you go into some staffing agencies, they will have it posted like what their rules are for hiring, and it will say no ride sharing. Okay. We know it's going to happen, but you are seeking the job, right? And you're like, I have no other transportation but my cousin. My cousin and I are coming for this for this position. I've stated before, if you are coming to an interview and say, for instance, you know somebody that works at this job. So you're coming into ABC Company, you see someone that you know, you're just sitting there waiting for your interview. You see someone that you know. Listen, when I say you better do a quick wave, if they have acknowledged you and they say something to you, you want to try your best to not speak to them. I'm so serious. But if this person is kind of being persistent or whatever, do a quick wave or something, because you do not know what status they are in, and it's birds of a feather flock together. Okay. You're guilty by association, all that kind of stuff, although you are your own human being. But usually who you flock with is who you act like, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, and it's just true. It's unfortunate, but it's true. I mean, and so that's a first impression that employer is going to get. I've talked before about being very careful who you put on your application of who recommended you for the job. Be very careful, because you do not truly know their status at that employer's. But let's go back to transportation, because I didn't forget what I was talking about. So if you're saying that you are ride sharing with someone, the only thing I can think about as an employer is if Debbie calls off, Chris is calling off too. Okay.
Wow.
Because if they're relying on each other for transportation, if Debbie calls off, Debbie's the one with the car, then yep, you got to call off too, because how are you going to get to work? There's some people that will not just get on the bus, or the position isn't on the bus line. You know what I mean? So you want to be very careful. And although down the line that may happen, okay, it may happen, But I'm saying to you, you have a better chance of getting that job, and prayerfully, you guys will work it out yourselves. Where, hey, Debbie, can I borrow your car to go to work?
Mm-hmm.
Or you're gonna have to get you a lift. There's some employers that
Mm-hmm.
will provide a lift for you, and yes, they will take it out of your paycheck, but you don't have to pay it today. I mean, so that could be a stress for some people, and I definitely understand that. So you want to try everything. There's Lyft, Uber, all that kind of stuff. So some companies do provide that service for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, majority of them are going to get that money back when you get your check. It automatically is going to come out before it, you ain't got to, go to them and pay it back. They going to take it out the check. Trust me, before you get it. Okay. Uncle Sam, them taking their money, but it still is a help, you know what I mean, for you to be able to keep that job, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to think about that when it comes to promotion time and all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, I know people have to ride share. I know it. Okay, I've been there myself, so I know it happens, but I'm trying to help you to be able to get that job, and to be able, because maybe you sincerely are working to get your own car. Well, I'm not going to hire you if I know you and Debbie need to ride to work together, because automatically all I can think about is, as soon as Debbie calls off, or if Chris calls off, whichever way it is, I have two people down instead of just one. And that's my productivity, that's my business, that's, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So as an employer, that's all I can think about. So I'm begging you guys, please don't make it known. If they ask you about transportation, just say you have transportation. If and figure these things out before you get there. While you're when you
Mm-hmm.
are going to the job interview, make sure that you can get to that job. Make sure,
Mm-hmm.
ask them if they have new things. Now, I know over in the Grove City area, this is free game. I know over in the Grove City area, and I know that they were looking to expand this out, but Grove City was the first area that they were doing this. Coda offers where you can, if you have, okay, so if you work in the Grove City area, meaning around Stringtown, uh all of that Stringtown Road area. So if you're in that vicinity of a job on Stringtown, Coda provides an extra ride. So if you are getting off at Stringtown, okay, then if you're getting off at Stringtown and you're going to somewhere in that vicinity, then you can go to Coda's app and download their app, and then be able to get what do they call it? I don't recall what they call it, but basically, Coda will do an extra ride to you, so they'll
Mm-hmm.
meet you at whatever bus stop that you're at and take you to that job. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's also another thing that they do where uh, you can leave your job, and they'll take you to the bus stop. Okay, so that you don't have to walk. So I know this is in the Grove City area.
Mm-hmm.
They were, looking to get that over in the Groveport area as well. So I'm not for sure if they have that over there yet. Definitely can look that up. But please look into that, because it definitely is a huge saver, especially when it's raining or whatever. They also have a service where they'll take you. So let's say, for instance, you needed to go to the grocery store in that area. You work in that area, you need to go to the grocery store real quick before you went home or something. They will provide a ride to another area that's in that vicinity, and then get you to the bus stop as well. So definitely look into that. That's definitely something that will help if the bus is your transportation. Look into the other areas. Linden, I know, was coming up next. Linden has a transportation piece that they have where it's like
Mm-hmm.
the Coda thing is driveless. There isn't a driver in there. So I don't know how long they're running that, but there's so many different options, guys, to be able to, get to work. Let me read this
Mm-hmm.
comment.
You're talking about the smart cars
Yes,
or
yeah.
smart bus? Yeah.
And that is in the Linden area. I know that for sure.
So another thing, and because I can speak to those who have disabilities, developmental and intellectual disabilities, if you think that you may qualify for transit, which is the offspring of CODA, it's like the little shuttles that you see in the neighborhoods. then you should go ahead and apply, because that could be a source of transportation for you if you have problems with taking the bus, or if you're dependent on other people. Apply for it. Now, I've sat in an interview with a client before, and they will tell you, if you cannot prove that you have a cognitive disability, even if you're blind, you can be disqualified. Because if you still understand how to get on and off a bus, if you're still able to know how to cross a street by yourself, things like that, that does not require any additional support, then most likely it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get the transportation. Now, they also told me that if you do qualify for transportation, which is a little shuttle bus that come in the neighborhoods to pick you up, they run during the same hours as the Coda bus. So even if you think, oh, well, I can get this bus because they're going to be here at 6 o'clock in the morning and take me to my job. If your bus, the Coda bus in your area, doesn't show up at 6 o'clock in the morning, then it's not going to be offered. It's only offered during the times that the bus is offered in that area. Also, you want to keep in mind that if you do qualify, make sure that you tell the dispatcher, the person who creates the schedule for people who ride the bus, that you need to be at work an hour or two early. Okay, in Columbus, it's an hour. In the rural areas, you need to tell them 2 hours before your job start time. The reason why is because they are not considered late until a half an hour after the time they're supposed to arrive. So technically, even if they arrive a minute later than they're supposed to pick you up, or 15 minutes late, they're not considered late. They have wiggle room for them to show up late for whatever reason. Okay. And when they come, be ready, because they will take off and leave if you're not out there standing there ready to get on the transit. So like I said, make sure that you tell them an hour or two before their appointed arrival time to be there, because they can have wiggle room to be late, and you don't want to be late to work because you're waiting on transit. Okay. It's better to be early than to be late. Unfortunately, some people have to be at work before the sun comes up, or have to leave for work before the sun comes up. Try to figure out a way to be safe. I can't tell you what that looks like for you, but be mindful that transit, it may be an option for you if you have a cognitive or physical disability. So basically, you just got to go to the CODA website and find the form to fill out the transit information. I'll put a link below to let you know what are those options. And another thing that you want to keep in mind, not only with transit, as if you have some financial hardships and you want to be able to ride the bus on a regular basis. I believe right now, I don't know. Can you tell me, do you know if it's still free to ride the CODA bus?
I believe it's through COVID. So as soon as they lift what's going on with, with COVID, when they release us. So basically at this moment, it would be May 1st. So until then, it is free.
It's still free.
Might change. I could look that up.
Me too.
Yeah, but as of now, especially if you are first responders. Yeah.
So
and
this is another.
Well, I was going to say, also keep in mind, you must wear a mask if you are getting on a bus now.
On the buses, yes.
As of last week, they put that out there. You must. So any of these transit, if it's the regular code, or if it's the transit, as you stated, that personally come to your homes and stuff, you have to wear a mask. They will not let you on the bus. They will not let you in these transit positions or transportations if you do not have a mask on. Okay. And that's for your safety and their safety as well.
Right. So another thing, like I was stating, if you have financial hardships and you qualify for a reduced fare pass, some things that you will need in order to qualify. First, you have to know one of two things. You either have to have your disability letter from the state, or you can go in and show proof through some other forms of documentation. You have to check the website. I believe that you have to get like a letter from a medical physician or something like that. But long story short, you need to have proof that you have a qualifying disability or something that caused you to need to use reduced fare pass. Okay, so there's the applications on their website, and you can fill that out. And then I believe you have to go in for a slight interview, and they'll talk to you about your situation, pull all the information in, they take your picture, to give you an ID pass, and then also that will help you with the reduced fare, and it's 50% off. So 50% off your monthly pass, 50% off your day-to-day bus rides, things of that nature. Everything is sliced in half. So I'll put the links below so you can have that information and you can look into those services and see if you qualify for them.
Nice. I want to address the question that was, or the statement really, it was question and statement that was put in here by Soul Line Dance Stepping in Columbus, Ohio.
Yes.
All right. So basically they're stating, why don't people already know about this information? As an adult, you should already know not to show up at a job ride sharing. You know, the best way that I can answer that is everybody does not know. And that is why I mentioned it, because I've seen it numerous times, more than I can count. You know, one thing that I always say, and take this with a grain of salt because I mean it from my heart, is common sense isn't common to everyone.
Everybody.
So,
yes.
You know, what you feel, and I'm glad you feel that way, you know, that is, you know, basically common knowledge, but it's not to everyone, because I've seen it countless times. I truly have. And that's why I wanted to mention it, because I've seen it hinder so many people and they don't understand it. They're like, but no, you know, I'm going to be at work. We need a job. I understand. But you can't foretell the future. Something could happen, you know, with a child, you know, something could happen, you know, the person falls and, you know, I mean, anything could happen. And so I've seen it multiple times. And that's why I brought it up, because people don't understand. They get so hyped and they need a job, and, you know, both parties need a job so bad. And it would be great for us to be able to go in together, and we would have transportation, and, you know, we're assisting each other. And I get it. But I'm just telling you how to curb that, because when you make it known, and I've seen it in the interviews where, you know, both parties are interviewing, and then they'll ask for, you know, well, what's your availability? Oh, well, can you ask my cousin? She's in the room next door interviewing what her availability is, because that's my ride. I'm telling you, I cannot count.
It happens.
Different jobs, how many times I've seen that happen. And what happens also with that is, because people may go in the door thinking, I'm not going to mention that. Okay. They may feel that way. But I'm telling you, then it ends up happening, because what I teach my recruiters is to be themselves. Okay. So if you're in an interview with me, trust me, I've heard things I definitely should not have heard before. I have. Why? Because I am myself during an interview, and you're going to get to know me. I'm going to get to know you, and we're going to start rocking. Meaning there's some commonality there or something, or you're going to get to know me, and you can be like, dang, she cool to work with.
Right. And then letting your guard down and start talking about stuff. Yes.
Listen, I have heard so many things that I should not have heard before, whether it's during an interview or it could be the first day of work. Listen, I'm telling y'all the truth. First day, I hired this guy. Remember this time I hired this guy. He came in for his first day and he was 3 minutes late. I really wasn't mad. I really wasn't mad that he was 3 minutes late. I really wasn't. I was working at a warehouse, and everybody had to come in at the same time to be able to go back to their station where I was taking them at to start work. This guy was 3 minutes late. I normally would wait, 5 to 6 minutes anyways, because of parking, and, it's your first day. So you're really trying to get used to parking and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not mad that he's 3 minutes late. I'm still waiting. Okay. So in the next 3 minutes, because he was already 3 minutes late. And I told you I wait 6 minutes to take people back. So in the next 3 minutes, do you not know he told me the reason, hey, Tequila, the reason that he was 3 minutes late was because he was exhausted. He had just come from the casino, literally had just come from the casino and had been up all night, had not been to sleep at all. And he was in his car drinking a Red Bull so that he could make it through the workday. Now, do you think it's something that I should hear as the employer on your first day? So basically, you just told me that you're not responsible. And now you work with heavy machinery. And so I'm going to put you on a job where you've been up all night and you had to get a Red Bull. So you may produce that day and be great. And no one would ever know, because you that type of person that can function off of no sleep and a Red Bull, okay? But I don't know that. But you may be that person that can do that. I don't know that, though. So what did I do? I escorted him actually to another area because I really did like him from my interview. I escorted him to another area, and I explained to him, you're going to have to start tomorrow. Get some sleep tonight. And so I gave him like why I'm making him go home today, because you've spoken to me and told me that your life is in danger and my other employees is in danger as well, because you just you've been up all night and had to get a Red Bull to be able to function today. And so it's my responsibility then to look at my other employers and say, I need everybody to be safe. I want everybody to go home safe tonight, all in one piece, because accidents can happen.
Yes.
So I looked at him and I said, I don't want an accident today. I'm trying to go home on time. Okay. Like my kid, I want to go home to her. And so I had him and I pulled him to the side and told him to come back the next day. And guess what? He did. I ain't never hear about no more late night escapades with him. If he talked about it, he definitely didn't talk about it in front of me.
With you. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I get people comfortable because I'm just me. So anybody that knows me, I'm cool all the time, whether I'm hiring you or not. I am just me. So people will get to know me and they'll get, you know what I'm saying? And they'll be like, oh, that's the homie.
Right.
And it's not that, I'm still professional. I'm still professional in what I'm doing. But I'm just saying, I'm that type of person that people can talk to. And so I do it for both reasons. And I'm telling you, people that are cool when you go in there to hire them or go in there to interview with them, they could be having the same strategy I do. And my recruiters, I used to teach them the same thing. Let them talk, because you're going to talk yourself into or out of a job. Something you could possibly say that I needed to hear to either give you this job or not give you this job. Okay. So I'm telling you guys, be direct with your answers. We talked about that when we went through the hiring, the interview process. And I told people, answer the questions. Don't go extra. Don't really tell too much about, if someone asks you for an example, tell about an example, but don't go really far. Okay. They ask you to tell them tell you about themselves. Be very direct, be all professional. Don't tell them how you won, at the fair last year, you won the pie eating contest. And then you grew up in the background. Like, come on, y'all. Like, I'm telling you,
related to the job. Yes.
Exactly. I'm trying to tell you what I have seen and I have heard. I've been in this game for 12 years. I've heard it. So when I said, let me even back up a second. Literally just a minute ago, when I said, come on, y'all, I'm saying, listen, I'm not downing anybody that has done this. I'm saying, please listen to the advice that we are giving, because I'm telling you, you will get the job and keep the job if you are listening to what we are saying. Please. So back to what she said, it's just not common for everybody to know that. You're excited,
Mm-hmm.
you really need a job, your bills are, coming at you every which way.
Mm-hmm.
And right now with the economy, with COVID and all that kind of stuff, everybody's back is up against the wall. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just be mindful and still be professional, because yes, this employer can say, we basically hiring anybody that come in the door.
Wow.
You
And
know,
that's the
they're
problem because they get anything. They get an
right.
assortment, just like a box of chocolates. And, you
Exactly.
never know what you're going to get. And then next thing you know, they'll end up having a high turnover because
Yep.
they didn't hire the right persons.
Exactly. But
Mm-hmm.
that could be your lucky time to get in the door, right? But don't shoot yourself in the foot, because just because I really, really needed you and I hired you, don't mean I ain't gonna fire you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying these things like, please be mindful of what you are saying when you are at interviews. Please
Mm-hmm.
be mindful of what you do after the interview. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because until you walk out that door, you are still in the interview process. And I know I kind of
Right.
went back on something else we talked about before, but I just wanted to be known that I'm bringing these things, guys, because I've seen it time
Mm-hmm.
and time and
Mm-hmm.
time again. And that is why I want to offer this to you guys, because you may not think it's nothing, but as an employer, we listen to everything that y'all say. From the
Mm-hmm.
time you walk in that door, I promise you. Oh, you think I'm just writing stuff down and you think I'm not paying attention? Trust me, I am. I'm listening
Right.
to everything that you are saying, even after the interview is done. And trust me, it's not done
Mm-hmm.
until you walk out the door.
Walk out that door and get in your car. Yes. And leave off
Exactly.
that property. So we talked about transportation. Like we talked about the things you should know when you fill an application or before you fill an application. You need to know your employment goal. You need to know your restrictions, like your availability, any kind of physical or intellectual conditions that you may have that may hinder you from certain jobs. We also talked about other restrictions, like if you're taking care of a family member or a friend, that needs to be taken into consideration too, because that tells us you may have to call off. You may not want to tell the employer that,
Right. And can I
but the point is that you need to know that so you can give them a realistic availability. And when you do get hired, you need to be honest about, if you need to call off for an emergency. Most people understand because if you are a parent, you're going to have to keep your phone on vibrate or something because you have a child that you need to be mindful of,
right.
right? Because they may be in school and they have an accident if they are an infant or a toddler. You have to run up there. Or if they are older than that and they have an accident, or they may have a school situation with another classmate or teacher.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you just never know. So we are understanding about that, but also people take care of elderly parents. People take care of friends or other type of family members too who may have a disability or dependency.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of those restrictions. Danielle, you had your finger up.
Yeah. I was going to say also, when it comes to, you having you so you knowing what it is that you want to do when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
like your disability. So on the application, we talked about this I think the last show, you
Mm-hmm.
are listing that you have a disability. Okay. So if you're not telling that employer everything about your disability, it is their responsibility to be able to accommodate you, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you don't tell them. Okay. So people kind of
Exactly.
get that confused, and they're like, well, they should have known. No, I'm not a medical doctor. So I'm not going to
Right.
know, but when you tell me, then I can make sure that I get everything for you, because, maybe you need a special, I remember working with a guy that needed a special screen on his
Mm-hmm.
computer,
Mm-hmm.
for reading. Okay, so I had to order that. That wasn't something that we had readily at the job. So I ordered that. And so where he could have started on Wednesday, because I had to order it, I started him on Friday. But it wasn't no different. He still went through the training the same exact way. He had, everything that he needed. But because I knew what he needed, I was able to provide him with everything. And that young man stayed with the company for a very long time, because he was just
Awesome.
open, and it was also a light that he needed, that was, that wasn't readily available. So it was a light that could be attached to his computer. And I got that from him. He told me, he said, this is what I normally use. And this is what is
Mm-hmm.
convenient for me. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
perfect. I wrote everything down that he told me and I ordered it for him. No problems. He didn't pay for it. The company paid for it. So, and I asked him, I said, I'm not asking, but I let him know, hey, I'll have all this for you. If something happens, they say it's, in back stock or whatever, I'll let you know. But he told me everything that he needed and I provided it for him. So you have to be open, because if we don't know, then that could hurt, like, I don't want to say hurt your disability, but you're not able to do your whole entire job function the way that you should because you're lacking the equipment that you need. So as long as you let them
Mm-hmm.
know, even when it comes down to chairs, do you need a special chair to sit in?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, a job, a doctor's note is needed for a lot of these things. But once you
Mm-hmm.
tell the employer, they have to provide it for you, and there's no problem providing it for you because they need you. Okay, you have the skill that
Mm-hmm.
they need to hire you, so there's no problem in getting it for you. Absolutely none.
So can I also say something that is very important for those who are aware of their disabilities and they work in the workforce or workplace? There is a Linden library directory. So if you have an assistive technology need, there's Linden libraries around. OSU was one of them that can offer you those assistive technologies, just like you would go and borrow a book from
Mhm.
a library. You have to check it out and so forth. But there are places that have them already that you can seek out so that you don't have to come out of your own pocket to buy things for yourself, whether it's for your home use or for work. But I'm not too sure about from an employer's perspective if they can go and borrow those things and use it for their employees. But for you as an individual, if you need those things, then you can seek those sources. I can put a link in the bottom about Linden Library so that you can know about the assistive technology that's out there.
Yeah, as an employer, no, they wouldn't do that unless it's a
Mm-hmm.
small, like a small business. 9 times out of 10, the company is just going to purchase what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do that knowing that you're going to be there for a long time, so it's a risk on both
Mm-hmm.
ends. But to borrow it is not something that would normally get done unless it's a small business, for cost reasons. And then also for your
Mm-hmm.
safety, because maybe it's something, so especially now, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want you to use something and, cross contamination, all that kind of stuff. So an
Mm-hmm.
employer would just purchase it. I've never seen this situation where
Awesome.
they would go to borrow, but I do know what you're talking about. So she's going to put that link
Mm-hmm.
so that you guys can have it, because that's definitely very important. They don't charge for that, and I do know about it. So that's really dope.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty much at our time tonight. And Tequila, I definitely saw your response. I definitely know, my baby comes first, so she's doing homeschooling. That's my boo, my girl. And so take care of her first, always. And I definitely we appreciate your support and everything,
Thank you,
that you've
everyone.
done for us. Thank you for everybody that has tuned in. Definitely keep in mind, like I said, if you have questions, reach out to one of us or both of us, or put it into the comments. We want
Yes.
to help you get those jobs. So we're looking at the
Yes.
end of April almost, and as of now in Ohio, majority of people that I see on here are from Ohio. So that's why I keep saying that. If you're from anywhere else, every state is doing something different when it comes to opening back up. But
Mm-hmm.
as of now, May 1st, Ohio will be back open. Don't know if that'll change. I believe it will, but we're not going to talk about that on here. But we just want to have you prepared, and for you to be prepared for a new job. If you're looking for a different job, we just want to be able to help you. The years that both of us have done this, she definitely Tish has taught me some things, um, you know, and hopefully I'll taught her something. Um,
Yes.
but we're just looking to help everybody to be able to get a job, get a career. Um, job boards. She put the different job boards that are there. Also, I think our time is up. So our next show, what I think we can talk about are um, staffing agencies. I have this feeling that staffing agencies, I started out pretty much in staffing agencies working for them, meaning being a recruiter for them. I just have this feeling that it's going to increase people going to um, staffing agencies. And I'm telling you right now, it's not a bad thing, but make sure you go to the right staffing agency for what it is that you want. Okay. Don't waste
Yes.
your time because so that's what we're going to talk about in the next one because I just really have this feeling that it's going to increase, which is cool. Okay. Don't look down on staffing agencies, guys, because a lot of them can find permanent jobs, not just temporary jobs. Okay. A lot of them do have permanent positions. Day one, when you start at the job, you will be their employee, their employee, have benefits and everything. Okay. There are a lot of places out there. Case in point, Chase right now is doing a big hiring. Nationwide Insurance, those two companies, well, Nationwide does. Nationwide uses outdoor sourcing, meaning they use a staffing agency to do their hiring,
Mm-hmm.
but you're a permanent employee. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
next show, let's go over that. I really have this feeling that it's going to increase here. And I
Mm-hmm.
want people to go to the right ones, ask the right questions and
Mm-hmm.
everything because staffing agencies can help you. They can. You just got to go to the right one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
join us on Tuesday. What is the date for Tuesday? Join us on Tuesday. We will be back here on April the 28th at noon
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and discuss more tips. If you have any questions in the meantime, definitely reach out to one of us or both of us or have a comment,
Mm-hmm.
put a comment in here and we both will be able to see it and we will definitely answer it. Thank you so much for your time. Have an amazing rest of your day and have an
Mm-hmm.
amazing weekend.